Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do problems like 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to change the numbers around a little bit. So if I was going to do a problem similar to number 1, instead of 20x plus 10, oh, I don't know, how about if I put something like 30x plus, let's say, 25, okay? And we're still going to factor out the largest possible common factor. So what that means is I'm going to look at both pieces. I'm going to look at the 30x and I'm going to look at the 25. And I'm going to ask myself, do they have anything in common? So the first one has an x, but this one here doesn't, right? So I know I can't take on an x. So then the next thing I'm looking at is, what's the common factor between 30 and 25? Meaning, what's the biggest number? Can I divide both into 30 and into 25? And the number that divides into both of those is the number 5. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking these numbers and I'm dividing them by 5. So 5 goes into 30 6 times. There was an x here, so I'm going to keep that x. And then 5 goes into 25 5 times. So this is what I'm trying to do when we're looking at problem number 1, okay? And so now let's do something similar to number 2. Okay, so number 2, oh, I'm going to change this to a 3x plus 24 plus, oh, let's say x, y plus 8y. Okay, and the directions here are telling me to factor by grouping. Okay, so the idea of grouping says there should be 4 pieces, and we have 4 pieces. So what we do is we look at the first 2. So I don't even acknowledge the second 2 pieces at the end. I'm just looking at 3x plus 24. And just like we did in this first problem, I'm going to ask myself, can I take anything out of there? Well, the number 3 goes into both those pieces, right? So I take out the 3, this is left with an x because the 3 goes away. 3 goes into 24 8 times, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to look at those pieces. I'm going to say, okay, do they have anything in common? Well, you know what? They both have the letter y. So if I take out the letter y from both of them, I'm left with an x plus 8. Now, the way we know we did this right is if this piece here and that piece there match up. So I would write it like this, x plus 8, these 2 factors collapse into 1, and then my second factor is the pieces that I'm left with, 3 plus y, okay? And then, let's see, 2x minus 20 plus xy minus 10y. Okay, so 2x, was it minus 20? Yeah, minus 20 plus xy minus 10y. Okay, so this is one we actually have. I'm going to just change it up again a little bit, okay? So how about if I make this into something like, oh, I'll change it to a 4x minus 20 plus an xy and a minus 5y, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing we did before. We're still going by grouping. Okay, so I'm going to look at the first 2 right here. And I'm going to say, okay, what do they both have that I can take out? Well, both of them can be divided by 4. So if I take out the 4 from here, I'm left with an x. And 4 goes into 20 5 times, and there's a minus in the middle, so I'm going to put a minus in the middle. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to look at those pieces, and they both have the letter y. So I'm going to take out the letter y. And if I take out the letter y from both of them, then I'm left with an x minus 5. And just like we said before, when factoring by grouping, if those pieces match up, we did this right, okay? So both this one here and this one here collapse into one single factor. And then this piece and that piece are going to be my second factor, okay? So let me get rid of this little line and this little line right there. There we go. Just so that we understand that it's all one big answer right there, okay? So I hope that makes sense. If you got any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to help.